the moment we've got Leah Callon-Butler. She's the director of Emfarsis, and we also have Kakumei from SushiSwap with the session NFTs and Chill. So if you guys are here, I'd like you to pop on your cameras and pop on your microphones, and thank you again for all your support, guys. It's been incredible, and I'll pass it over to you guys.
Thanks, Rochelle. Are you there, Kakumei?
Hello.
I know we didn't plan for this, but I actually wore something Japanese themed in your honor.
Oh, it's lovely. Look lovely.
You always look so amazing on all of our meetings, obviously. So I just kind of felt like I needed to come to the party. Now, most people here wouldn't have met you before, and you are a talking sushi head. I kind of just wanted to call that out. For anyone who hasn't met Kakumei before, he's from SushiSwap, and we wanted to set the scene a little bit because we became really great friends after I fell in love with his musical abilities. He has been sharing incredible education around all things DeFi through song, and he's actually created an incredible song just for NFT Fest, and we thought we might just start with that to set the scene today. Do you want to take it away, Kakumei?
I will take it. Yeah, I think it might serve to degenerate the conversation a little bit after the lawyer talk. So I'll pop the share screen. Make sure it's all working first.
Are you able to share screen? Yeah.
Am I coming through? And,
I can see. Yep.
Just yell if the sound doesn't come through. So Leah came out and she was like, Kakumei, would you sing a song about NFTs? I was like, sure, I've just got some questions. What is an NFT? Because everybody buys them on OpenSea, but what is an NFT? They put them up on Twitter as their PFPs, but what is an NFT? Keys to access community, but what is an NFT? A new way of ownership on DLT. Yeah! Think of your token, how you think of a hash. A big string of numbers that nothing can match. A unique item, you can't deny it. You link it to the chain, and people can buy it. Yeah, so I'll ask again. What is an NFT? What is an NFT? Internet of Value for Eternity. But what is an NFT? It's digital identity. What's the deal with this crypto junk? Cause I spent a couple million on a crypto punk. Oh my god, has it bottomed? Is it over? Take profits? NFTs will have their place in the future of France. Web3 ownership, decentralist finance. You can form a DAO and get straight to voting. You don't have a say if you don't have a token. Thank you.
Amazing. Sorry. That song is going to be in my head for weeks. I actually like the end where it's like, let's get straight to voting if you don't have a token. I love it. Anyway, sorry, I'm not really good at rapping. I'll leave it to the experts.
We'll be selling NFTs after the show in the car park, so if you hit us up afterwards.
Excellent. So everybody, welcome to our session today. If you didn't see the promotional flyer, it's titled NFTs and Chill, an exploration of the socio-cultural and organisational implications of recent experimentation in decentralised ownership and non-fungible token distribution mechanisms. So before we dive right in, we thought it might be worthwhile just having a little chat about pseudonymity, because clearly, Kakumei, as I mentioned before, you are a talking sushi head. What's the deal? There's a lot of people in DeFi with pseudonyms and not many with talking sushi heads, but can you give us a little bit of a clue as to why you have chosen to be a talking sushi?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of comes with the territory with decentralized finance and DeFi projects especially. And I think it's sort of two reasons. And one is obviously the need for anonymity and the decentralized nature, meaning that perhaps it shouldn't matter who you are. These are
contracts that once deployed are decentralized and do as they do. This is, I guess what the real anonymity of the DeFi dev, as not so much a DeFi dev myself. I'm a DeFi advocate at best. And the second.
Sorry, you go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I guess the second part is the other aspect of that being the pseudonymity. I'm no longer who I am in my real life. I'm Kakumei, this talking sushi head, and if that's all you have to go on, you either have to listen, you can dismiss me out of hand, or you can listen to what has to be said. And I think that's sort of a good way for us, and sort of maybe the way we should be leading.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think a lot of people assume that the reason that people are leveraging pseudonymity is a place of hiding, but for some it can actually be an amazing way to express themselves without being kind of hindered by their actual human body or the place that they were born or their socioeconomic kind of profile. Like, what would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, nail on the head, Leah. Yeah, no, I think it's kind of funny because we all, like, especially with NFT summer, it's very easy to like write off the 10,000 PFP photos, sort of thing. But they really solidified this, like, if you own this NFT, you're part of the community. The community, like, develops its own persona around these items and creates its own roadmap and creates its own future as a community. And like, if you picked wrong and it didn't moon, you're still part of an interesting community that, especially as NFTs develop, like, you can be part of, that has nothing to do with your real life. I think that's really interesting. Real life in air quotes, because I mean, which one's the real life now?
Yeah, exactly. And I think we'll get into a bit of that today. On that note, I realized I didn't introduce myself. So my name is Leah Callon-Butler. I'm the director of Emfarsis, and we're a consulting firm that specializes in blockchain and crypto. You may have seen the mini documentary that we made, which was called Play to Earn. You can actually look it up on Twitter. So this was a mini documentary made about NFT gaming taking off in the Philippines. So that's kind of what we do. But Kakumei and I have been working together for a little while, and I thought it'd be pretty cool to invite him along to NFT Fest. It might sound a bit strange to invite him because he's from Sushi and they are more of a DEX. So Kakumei, could you just give a little bit of an overview as to Sushi and what it does, what you do there, what's your role?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm on the MISO contributor team, I guess. That's the I guess how I entered Sushi. But Sushi itself is a decentralized exchange. For I guess everyone that doesn't know, or started out as a decentralized exchange, and it's since moved to, I guess, a suite of DeFi protocols. Really reaching out across all of DeFi, one of which is the MISO Launchpad, and that's how I sort of got, I guess, brought into the contributor fold. And since then, I mean, even since MISO launched, we've had 2 or 3 new platforms come out or get built upon. We've had expansion in the actual initial decentralized exchange and how that works. So Sushi is expanding in all directions at all times at the moment. So it's really quite thrilling to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, as a token sale platform, or at least part of it, if we're talking about MISO specifically, it really feels like Sushi has come a really long way from the UX that some of us might remember, circa 2017, if you were participating in a token sale. And somebody, I just noticed in the chat, they were saying, I thought it was SushiSwap. It was, but it's now known as Sushi. So you can help everyone get it right.
SushiSwap is now just one mere portion of the sushi empire.
Exactly. So diving right into the discussion today. Look, this is NFT Fest, and obviously NFTs are so hot right now, but I think to focus on NFTs themselves is actually a really narrow view of what's happening in this space. And, you know, there's actually many different token types that are all interacting to build and support these incredibly vibrant new crypto economies. So a quick explainer for those of you who are following along at home or who might just be joining now and you're like, what is an NFT? Step back. So fungible tokens, they're alike. It's like changing a dollar for a dollar or a Bitcoin for a Bitcoin. They're the same. But NFTs or non-fungible tokens, they're unique. So they're not directly interchangeable. It's like trying to change a goat and a cow, or a Van Gogh and a Picasso, or a Picasso for another Picasso. But the interesting thing to think about is that when you put them all together, they can do some really cool stuff. So let me explain. I might own, say, a yield generating non-fungible token, NFT, and by operating it, say within an NFT game, I can farm fungible tokens. So my NFT delivers cash flow in the form of fungible tokens. And that's what people are doing in Axie Infinity and other play to earn games, which we're going to talk about in the next session. But you can use NFTs to play the game and you get FTs, can I call them that? Fungible tokens as a reward if you win. So those fungible tokens, they can be traded for other cryptos like Ethereum, or they could be used for something specific, as usually the token has some kind of utility associated with it in the game. So just to continue on a little bit more from that, if you're familiar with Axie Infinity, the really popular play to earn game, the in-game reward token, the fungible token that's farmed in Axie, is called Smooth Love Potion, or SLP for short. And its utility is that you can use it to breed more Axies. So that's, you basically spend it to make baby Axies. In this way, you're burning ERC20 tokens to produce a new ERC721, which is an NFT. So you can see how here the cycle of life behind an NFT is actually completely dependent on fungible tokens. So Kakumei, I'd throw to you on this because, you know, we're really just scratching the surface here in terms of the level of creativity that is coming out of this space. Like, it's really, really exciting in terms of tokenization and the relationships that different tokens have with each other. Maybe you could explain, like, you know, what does it mean if, I don't know, maybe I've been watching today and I'm like, oh, I really want to buy an NFT, but I don't know which one to buy. Is there a way that I could buy a fungible token instead? And I don't know, maybe it's representative of NFTs. Like, how would that work?
Yeah, let's say one of the cool crossovers of DeFi and NFTs. I mean, what can probably please the DAO springs to mind, but there's, I'm sure, many of these maybe like artistic curation DAOs and things like that, where, yeah, you can, using traditional ERC20 tokens, you can buy a portion of, especially in these DAO cases, like the governance to decide what you do with these NFT items and which ones to purchase and which ones to sell. And I think that, you know, not everyone's an art critique, but we still sort of see it's easy to see the value. You know, there's the value of the art world, the value of non-fungible tokens in general. There's value there, and you want to take part of it. Yeah, you can buy fractional participation in these DAOs, for instance. There's also fractionalized ERC20 ownership of NFTs themselves. There's I guess another sub-industry popping out. Yeah, Party DAO again, another one springs to mind. People want to Google.
It's kind of like owning shares in an art collection, but without curating the collection yourself or owning the actual art itself. You get to actually share in the value of it and interact with it, potentially even participate in the governance of how that particular, you know, pool of funding or how that NFT collection is run. So it's a really interesting way, I guess, like owning an NFT without ever owning an NFT. And the reason I wanted to invite you on here today to talk about that is because I think Sushi's Miso platform, which you've been a huge part of, has really given birth to many of these fungible tokens that work in with NFTs. I guess the obvious one that, we became friends when we were working on, full disclosure, Yield Guild Games is a client of my company, Emfarsis, and we ran the public sale for the YGG token on Kakumei's Miso platform. It raised $12.5 million in 31 seconds, which was incredible. But it's a really good example of a token that is representative of an NFT collection. So if you own a YGG token, it's a representation of all of the game-based NFTs that Yield Guild Games owns in the metaverse. And it's been quite popular because, a lot of people have seen that there's incredible activity happening in the play to earn space, but, they don't have the time to be able to go and do proper due diligence on every single game because, there's a lot of them coming out. So by holding a fungible token, they could actually have exposure to this space, but without ever buying an NFT themselves. So that's kind of where Kakumei and I met. And I think there's actually a really interesting case study that maybe you could share with us, Kakumei, about sake, because that was kind of what kicked off the whole Miso story. And maybe you could explain a little bit about how that worked.
Yeah, sake was our initial Miso launch, and it was really interesting because Miso was created as a price discovery, platform for discovering the initial price of ERC20 tokens. That was our mission statement. But as by the time we were done, the industry as it evolves, we were looking into pricing non-fungible items. And one of the first case was, well, the first one we went with was sake, which was actually the purchasing the launch or the IDO of a ERC20 token that would be redeemable if you had one full ERC20 token for an physical bottle of quite a prestigious sake and the accompanying NFT. So, I mean, it was really you're dealing with the price discovery effects of, a first of its kind NFT. Not only that, it's a prestigious liquor from I think it's about an 150-year-old sake distillery in Japan. Not only that, it's the launch of Sushi's decentralized launchpad platform for history forever. And there's a lot of price discovery in there alongside. You'll get this bottle of liquor you can drink. So I think it was just like such a perfect, you can see the NFT side of it in the actual item. And as it turned out, I guess that confluence of hype ended up with sake reaching about $50,000 US per bottle, and setting a record for at least the most expensive sake, but potentially some other very vague ones about liquor in general. Digital sales of liquor, maybe we'll take that award as well. So it was a really cool test case of just, how far does this go? And we followed it up with quite a few more like interesting ERC20 to NFT or the other way price discovery events, as we're titling them.
Yeah, I think that's fascinating too. I mean, that is one of the most difficult things in terms of price discovery. That's something that we certainly explored when we were doing the YGG token sale. What are the, just, if you could explain a little bit more about Sushi and Miso, what are the different price discovery mechanisms that people can use on Sushi?
Cool. I mean, it's a composable platform, so there'll be many more to come. But right now we've got 3 auction methods. The first one is a crowd sale. Essentially, it's a set amount of the item for a set price, first in, first served. And you can whitelist who can participate. You can whitelist how much they can contribute. You can of course, geo-block. You can also do what's called a batch auction, where essentially you have a batch of tokens. Everybody puts in the auction currency in another pool, and then the tokens are divided amongst you by how much you contributed. And finally, is I guess my favorite, and the one we used at YGG, is a Dutch auction, which is a descending auction. Typically used to find the true market value. And funnily enough, in the case of YGG, we found out the true market value was placed
very high.
Highly, yes. How do we word this? But yeah, I mean, so the Dutch auction should price everybody out, and when it really comes down to that point where someone can actually sweep in and snap up all of the tokens that are for sale as the price drops, that true price discovery and the auction really begins. So those are the three we've got. We've got ideas for hyperbolic auctions, where the price would drop or rise a bit faster according to time and math, and many other options to come out. A wink, a wink.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, no, I think that's really interesting, because when we are particularly talking about these tokens that are representative of, not just one NFT, but an entire NFT collection, or, perhaps they're used for some other interesting utility. The price discovery piece is really interesting, because I guess, you could look at a community and try to sort of gauge sentiment, but until people are willing to actually participate in that sale, we don't really know. So I guess another thing that I wanted to explore was that there are other products that are on the Sushi platform. And another one that I got to experience was the liquidity provision. So later, again with YGG, because obviously that's probably the most experience I've had on Sushi with this particular project, we held a liquidity event where you could stake YGG with Rev tokens. And Rev tokens, if you haven't heard of those, they're actually associated with a few different car racing games. So Rev Racing, for example, F1 Delta Time, which is by Animoca Brands, both of them. And basically you could stake these two tokens in a liquidity pool, and provided that you had them there for a certain amount of time, you can actually get airdropped an NFT car that you could go and play in the game Rev Racing. So that's another interesting example where ERC20 tokens are being used to redeem for an NFT. So, are there other examples that you could talk about, Kakumei, that you've seen where people are, using all these different tokens and interacting in different ways?
Yeah, there's quite a few of these. I mean, a really nice, once again, air quotes, decentralized version is the Loot NFT release that came, and the eventual building of the Adventurer's Guild around it. Yeah, and that was a cool one, especially in its decentralized nature. Was very interesting to watch. But where they had an NFT that obviously essentially gave you this entrance to a club, and after that, when an economy was obviously needed for the development of the community, a decentralized answer sprung up, and they released this ERC20 called Adventurer's Gold, which was to be the sort of unit of exchange, I believe, within both the metaverse universe they're crafting, and within, I guess, the DAO functionality of the community. Is that the term you use? So just like that's a perfect blend, and obviously I've got a soft spot for it. It's nice and ostensibly decentralized. The community crafted this of its own free will. Yeah, that was a really cool experiment recently. Not so much, linked to sushi or anything. That's my personal interest in that one.
No, I think that's great. And I do love that all of your arguments, they always come back to the importance of decentralization around crypto values. But Kerry Chen in the chat has like completely ruined our surprise. Thanks a lot, Kerry. She wanted to know if you could give her a walk through Shoyu. Also, Kakumei ruined my talk because I thought we were going to have, you know, an ERC20 token based discussion. And in the meantime, Sushi has launched an NFT platform called Shoyu. So to wrap up our chat today, we thought maybe we could give everyone a little sneak peek of what Shoyu looks like. Please.
Yes, I'll quickly. It is not officially launched as of yet, but contracts are where they should be, and I have been given a green light to at least show a little slideshow for everybody. So I will present it with minor comment, but I think everybody's going to get quite a nice bit of leaky alpha. Yeah, this is the Shoyu presentation. I believe the launch officially will be October, perhaps mid-October, but I'll let someone else confirm that. If you want more, you'll have to join the Sushi Discord. But yes, back to share screen, and I'll take us through.
Awesome.
Once again, coming through.
I can see it. Beautiful.
That. In the full screen. I believe some of the text might be cut off, but you'll have to print screen that and follow
Screenshot.
I mean, there's a lot of artistic integrity being put into this platform, put it that way. This is a little step inside the metaverse, where we'll have galleries where you can display your art, and participants and entrants can actually walk around or view the arts in a sort of living metaverse space. Every one of these you'll be able to select as an artist for your community, and you'll be able to have them wander around it. Customizable galleries for displaying your high quality art. Ability to customize how you display your art, of course. That's crucial, 500 megabyte uploads. VR capability. Set a soundtrack. We also have a curated gallery option. You can follow curators or even curation DAOs, one could say. One, I'll let that sink in. Something you may have found in other competitive platforms that you have trouble discovering new content. and everyone have a little look at this. This is the juiciest bit. And also focus down here, being able to upload all of these file tags, images, GIFs, MP4, MP3. Really immerse your audience and community. Crossover, many of the option types that you've seen in Miso will also be shown you. There'll be cross-compatibility. As we were discussing, the ability to, on the fly, form fractionalized DAOs around the purchase of NFT. Again, community building is at the very core, Shoyu. As always, everything will link within the sushi empire. Should probably stop referring to it as an empire. Here's where we get very DeFi. Ability to link in with sushi, liquidity pools, and various other platforms on the rental box. As I've explained, the second case study, a perfect example of a use case. Show you. And there you go. For further inquiries, please email ledex@sushi.com or Amanda@sushi.com. There we go. That was very exciting.
So exciting. And you guys saw it first here. Thank you so much for taking us through that, Kakumei. I actually was loving watching all the comments that everyone was popping up. People are just like losing their minds. They're like, multi-chain minting, oh my God. And there was a lot of questions. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do them all here. So I think you guys have to get into the Sushi Discord, meet Kakumei there, follow him on Twitter. And actually, maybe we can keep talking about this on Twitter. That would be fun, actually.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I basically live on Twitter, so join me there. I think it's 0x Kakumei or something similar. You'll find me.
There we go. We put it into the chat. So if anyone wants to find him on Twitter, thank you so much for being here, Talking Sushi Head. You are definitely my favorite Talking Sushi Head of all the Talking Sushi Heads. And this has been an amazing overview of sushi. Everything that you guys are doing is absolutely incredible. Can't wait to see more innovation there. And it's been great working with you.
Oh, it's been a pleasure in all regards. Now, it's really a pleasure and an honor to be here. And I hope it was exciting for everyone. And I also managed to actually get some information in as well. Success.
You always do. Oh, and by the way, I want to add to that too. Like, I fell in love with Kakumei because of his musical videos, and of course he shared an amazing original today, but there are more on YouTube, so please go and check it out. He is a musical genius, as you can see.
Yeah, check the YouTube. It will be you know, the lyrics in the descriptions. You know, the album's out soon. No, not really.
Thank you, Kakumei. I'll say bye-bye now. We're actually going to run into our next panel, which is all about play-to-earn gaming, and I will see anyone there who wants to come across.
Good luck. Bye.